Hello, and welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today I want to talk about making unpopular decisions. Sometimes you need to make decisions that you know are right in your heart, and people go against you. They don't see the vision that you see, or they don't understand why the decision you're making is so important to you, or they don't, they're just thinking of it from their own perspective, or whatever the reason might be, but they are sort of going against what you believe. And I think it's important to sort of stop and look at it from their perspective. I think it's important to hear what it is that they have to say. But at the end of the day, you've got to make the decision for yourself. And you've got to decide, is this something that you know in your heart of hearts is the right move for you? Is this something that, while it might cause a lot of heartache in the short term, in the long run, it's going to actually benefit not only you, but maybe, those very people who are going against it? What is it about this decision that you're making that you just know in your gut is the right decision? And how can you explain that to people? Or do you even need to explain it to people? A lot of things depend on a decision. Some small stuff doesn't need to be discussed with anybody. You just go ahead and do it. And that's how we go through most of our day, quite frankly. Bigger items might need to be discussed with your partner in life, or your partner in business, or both. Particularly if there's joint assets involved and that kind of thing, whatever. Or if it's taking your life or your business in totally different direction, right? So, there are definitely some huge decisions that, while it's not that you can't make them on your own, if other people are going to be affected by them, then they need to sort of be in on the conversation. So the question then is, how do you do that? How do you do that with integrity, with compassion, with clarity? Clarity is super, super key here. And how do you talk about it in a way that is both passionate and yet from an observer's point of view? So I sort of saying two almost opposite things, because from an observer's point of view, the idea is to take the emotion out of it. But when you're passionate about something, then that passion, comes through, right? But you do need to look at it from an observer's point of view to take just to have clarity around the whole thing, your pros, your cons. If you're super passionate about something, you might forget about a lot of the cons, right? So, you really need to look at things from both angles. And then you just basically have to make a decision and either move forward or, like I say, talk to people about it and get their perspective. And then you may still have to move forward, or you may still want to move forward. And maybe you can't at this point in time, or maybe, whatever. And if that's the case, if you're passionate about something and you can't move forward the way you'd like to move forward, well, then you're going to have other questions that you're going to need to answer, right? Are you with the, the right person in your life or in your business? Is what they have to say valuable? Do you respect them? And then the biggest and maybe most difficult thing of all is that if you cannot move forward with it, how are you going to reframe that to still make it a win? How are you going to, because you can't live in blame and regret and anger and frustration because you can't do what you want to do. You've got to still find a way to move forward. Always, we need to be moving forward, right? Unless we're stopping for a period of reflection. And that's not a blame thing. That's just purely reflection. Okay, this is where I am. What can I do? What's the smaller step that I can do to move forward? Maybe move towards this bigger thing you want to do. So these are just some of the things that you sort of need to take into consideration when you're trying to make a large decision. And that's my musing for the day. Have a great one, everyone.